Hi all. Right, back to hopefully finally finish off scenario 1 of Red Storm, the Dark Blue Defection solo scenarios. Scenario 1 Red Dawn. A few things to just go over first. John's been busy replying to the last 3 parts. 7, 8 and 9, so there's quite a lot. I'll try and go through them kind of quickly. Although I have made a reply to them this time, so if I don't catch it in, you can look at the comments and whatever. So yeah, first of all, solo instructions for this random event only apply if the manpad event is rolled. Yeah, I think I've been muddling this up. He also comments further on that although these bot random event instructions say something, we still need to actually roll. And the manpad ambush was... So manpad ambush, and it's not one of the ones that we ignore in the solo event, but it does have its own random event instructions for the bot. However, it says manpad ambush, roll 1d10 again, and then if we get a 1 to 5 result, it is the Warsaw Pact. If we get a 6 to 10, it's NATO. And what John's saying is... that you'd only use that event if we rolled for NATO. And I never really still kind of thought about that. I think we're reading the... Now there's the bot instructions for it. So I was at work when I commented there, so I didn't really have the charts. And I did want to read this. That says manpad ambush. Randomly select a human player flight among flights at deck and low on hostile side of the front. I suppose. Right, okay. If you think about the fact that... Well, no, that's not the case. It's not... I'm not so sure that's that clear then, John, really. Or is it just a Grant thing? I see what he's saying. He's saying that we should still roll there, and it does say roll. So let's just say we roll Warsaw Pact. And the instructions say randomly select a human player among flights at deck low on the hostile side of the front. It doesn't really say ignore the event. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you're right there, John. But let me see. The solo instructions for this random event only apply if the manpad event is rolled, where it would affect NATO. You still have to roll to see which side is affected. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm not so sure it's that clear, unless, of course, it does tell you something in the solo rules. Okay, however, let's read that again, Grant. Let's read the actual event. It says, manpad ambush, roll 1d10 again. If you get a 1 to 5, it's Warsaw Pact. If you get a 6 to 10, it's NATO. Right, let's read on a little further, though. It says that player selects one enemy flight that is at deck low and on the hostile side of the front for manpad ambush. Make a heavy barrage attack on the selected enemy flight. The flight is considered to be at speed 3. If no enemy flight is eligible, there is no effect. What has John said? It would affect NATO. See, I was kind of thinking that we're rolling... If we rolled 6 to 10, it would be NATO. But that means that we decide... Oh. Yeah, I've totally got that wrong, because that can affect the Warsaw Pact then. We rolled 6... Well, I don't know what we rolled. Did we roll 1 to 5? Well, it never mattered with it, did it? Because all our flights are on the right side of the front, so it didn't matter, because I think we've rolled that event twice now. But I've not been properly dealing with that. Okay, sorry, John. I'm calling you out for something there that, yeah, it's just me not reading it properly. So if it's a 1 to 5, we get a Warsaw Pact result, then we would look at this. So it's actually the Warsaw Pact result that would then randomly select a human player flight at deck and low on hostile side of the front, and then carry out the ambush, I think. However, if we rolled the dice and it was NATO, then we would actually get to pick that event and do it to them. I think. So it's not that this event just sort of cancels it out and just makes it for the... It's basically saying that if you roll it for the Warsaw Pact, you randomly select a human player flight, rather than if you were playing this as a 2-player game, the opponent, the Warsaw Pact player, would pick what flight he wanted. Whereas that, it's just telling you it's random. Aye. Okay, right, good to get all these mistakes out of the way. And there was another comment. Well, actually, I'll maybe come to that, because I never noticed it was right at the top of his questions, actually, and it also calls me out again for doing something else, like not doing the events properly. Right, let's move on anyway. Order of detection. I was wondering if there's an order in what you do it, as I've got that sitting right above it as well. Let's see. And what I mean by that is, in the detection phase, you roll to detect undetected flights. There's a standard check, a visual check, a radar search, an EWR search. He says, unless he's missed it all this time, he doesn't think there's an order of detection methods it's specified. He says he generally does it eligible detection methods on one flight, then move on to the other. So he goes through them all. You know, we do the normal detection, then the visual, then the radar. So it doesn't look like it matters. I'll probably stick the way that I've been doing it, but we'll see. To be honest, it might actually be easier the way he's talking about doing it, but we'll see as we go on. Okay, 26. The flight being detected has to be in the forward dark okay. This is the IRST1. So I was a little bit unsure about this. Yeah, so this is when we were using the IRST capability of the MiG. The MiG's the only flight in this scenario that's got that. And well, actually I need to keep that, but you'll see the IRST column is there, and then the visual column. And this is done within the visual part of detection. And with visual, you just get a check. Nothing. He never commented, because I talked about the fact, can the pilot look right behind? Can he see if the flight's right behind? And I dare say they must be able to do that. And this is visual, so you're up closer, so you're going to see a plane, you know. However, the IRST has to be within the forward arc of the Warsaw Pact flight, and the modifier there. And he explains this. The modifier, detecting aircraft in rear arc of target, IRST searches only, which is a +2, is if you're in the rear arc of the plane, and obviously it's got he explains it here. The exhaust of aircraft is pointed rearward, thus something that spots heat, the IR, and IRST, infrared, whatever the ST bit is, will have an easier time if the greatest heat source is pointed in your general direction. So I replied, it makes sense. I said, if the flight they would like to detect is not in their forward arc, I assume they could still make a visual detection attempt. And he said yes to that, I believe. So how you would do it is, if you've got the IRST, because the IRST gives you a second attempt, doesn't it? Right, so I'm not... If you had them in your forward arc, then, John, like you said, they are, and you're doing the visual IRST check, and obviously you've got the MiG-29, do you check on the IRST column, and then say you failed the check, do you then carry out a second attempt on the IRST column, or would it be on the visual column then the IRST? No, sure it would be in the IRST twice. I'm not quite sure. Well, I wasn't able to do the second attempt because it talks about it. Yeah, does it not specify that the second attempt has to be? But maybe this is right. Wait till I get the page up. Yeah, this is on visual detection, 10.21 on page 16. And it talks about visual detection. Make only one visual detection attempt per enemy flight. in each detection phase, regardless. And then exception, Warsaw Pact flights with IRST sensors may make a second such attempt if the enemy flight is in the Warsaw Pact flight's forward arc. So we were in the position, if the enemy flight is in the Warsaw Pact forward arc, I think when we done that check, he wasn't in the forward arc, was he? We couldn't carry out the second check. So I think all I done was a visual check. But if we were getting the second attempt, John, and he was in our forward arc, would the first attempt use the visual column, or would they both use the IRST column? I mean, I kind of think, yes, they would both use the IRST column. Okay, I'll leave that one with you. Right, okay, good stuff. He says we had it right, 20 to 25 hexes. This is talking about radar detection attempt. Would get a -1, otherwise there's no modifier for range. In general, most NATO aircraft get a -1, and Warsaw Pact aircraft get a -2. And that's maybe why there's a -X in it. Where is that? Is that on this one? That's it there, isn't it? Range to target. And I was just a little bit, when I seen the -X, I thought, oh, wait a minute, it's not just a -1 that's got here, but it could be a -1 for us, it could be a -2 for them. Who knows, there might be a -3 somewhere, but it doesn't mention that, admittedly. He also pulls me up for some of my turns. I think there's 2 or 3 of them he's pulled me up for. I won't just highlight them, they're there. I did talk about it. I realised I was getting the turns wrong. He does give a wee sort of, it's maybe further on, he talks about how he done it to sort of, I think it's like, when you turn from there to the spine, from the spine to the hex side to the spine, hex side, that's how, I don't think I'll make the mistake again, but yeah, I did do it a few times, admittedly. So he's marked them where I've done it, if you want to check, there's timestamps for them. And then, sorry, where I've jumped ahead there a bit. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I said, yeah, it seems I got a few of these wrong. Hopefully got it now. At the 50-minute mark, and this is on part 7, by the way. The MiGs are just a distraction, go for the bombers. Plus, as you say, pull-off is undetected, so can't attack them. Yeah, it's when pull-off flight was undetected in the event. I says, yeah, again, I realise that all this too late. Oh well, hopefully it'll make things... Hopefully it will make me think more come the next scenario. Yeah, okay. At the 109-minute mark, he said, yep, you do have that one right, Grant. I can't remember what it was, so... But anyway. Now, this one was interesting and got me thinking and wondering about things. So I wasn't quite sure. I had to try and look at what he was talking about here. He says he's house ruled that Winchester comes before disordered, and I was like, what are we on about here? I do remember reading Winchester, and Winchester means all your air weapons are depleted, and well, what it means like that, we have to go down these in order. So you would come to disorder before Winchester, and what he's saying is he would do Winchester first. So whereas disordered is set dash throttle, well, if you're not adjacent to an orbit rally point, set dash throttle, climb on altitude band and move as close as possible to nearest orbit rally point. And that's to try and get rid of your disorder. Whereas Winchester says dash throttle, move to land as quickly as possible as nearest available airfield. And I thought, okay, yeah, and then there's also a mention here where you land, you lose your disorder. And I thought, I never really thought about that. But then I remember when I was reading the rules thinking, wow, it's quite a process to land and take off again, refuel, rearm and take off again. So anyway, but he says that's what his house rule is. He would look at this instruction before disordered, and his reasoning is that a flight is out of weapons. If a flight is out of weapons, it does not care about just rallying. A fair point. If you lose a disorder and you have no weapons, well, you've not done anything. You really have you. You can't get back in the fight. So I think that should be more than a house rule, to be honest, John. But I don't know if you've maybe brought this up elsewhere. I would have thought that sounds to me like something that should be changed. However, I suppose it could depend on what your mission is at the time, isn't it? Yeah, okay. But anyway, he's saying it does not care about just rallying, it will still have to rearm. So instead, I skip the attempt to rally and just go straight to trying to rearm. Plus, landing automatically removes disorder, and that's when a wee sort of light bulb went on. Whether that's what Howard was talking about or not, I don't know. But in this scenario, to land and take off again, I think John tells me how long it takes. It's like so many turns to land and take off again. And then, like you said, plus landing, yeah. This applies less to the mags and more to Roach, which he was talking about. But I said, interesting, makes sense. So, and I never thought about landing and removing disorder. There wasn't the whole landing, rearming and taking off again, a long process. And then, yeah, he does come back. Sorry, I know this is like, I'm going to spend all my time going over this and like get it finished, but I suppose as long as I understand it. He says, yes, landing, rearm, refuel, take off are very long processes. He talks about it all there. He confirms about the visual detection attempts can happen regardless of the arc. He also mentions some other aircraft that have got funky things, but we'll not jump into that. Okay, that was the replies to part 7. Okay, so next comments about part 8 were he clarifies that I've got 2 turns to get the Su-24 bomber at the time. I eventually realised that, don't I, because he confirms that the Su-24 is laden and it's only got 2 movement points. I eventually sussed that one out right enough, but which I mentioned. He says, however, you only have 1 turn for the generic since they can move 4 movement points. When this was generic. I remember I was wondering about that. So he follows that up with the next timestamp at 1930. Rules is written, you do still use the clean speed profiles. But as you said, the generic is out of play, and yeah, the other generic's out of play, and the MiG-29 flight is on the board. I think he's maybe meaning the dummy's out of play. But anyway, so we know that it's a laden Su-24 that was left. But he says using the clean profile for the generic counters definitely makes this scenario harder. Which, I think fine. I said, I guess it gives the bot a slight advantage. Though it seems fine. It's just I wasn't sure about it. That's what. It's one of the wee things that, I think sometimes the bot should get. As we've done with most of Mr. Butterfield's games, the bots, the AI are quite brutal at times with some of the things that they are allowed to get away with. However, remember it's all written in the book that tells you what to do with them. It's not this brilliant mind thinking about what to do. And I say brilliant mind, it's not my mind, but I mean who's playing the game, who's playing against the AI, So I don't mind these things coming in. It's just, as long as I'm clear about that's how it should be. Clearly your version of the MiG-29 and F-15A have better turn capabilities than the standard jet fighter. So must be more comments regarding my turning skills. He says, any turn, regardless how much you turn, moves you from the hex side into the hex in the direction of the turn. Okay, that's fine. This is an interesting one. Where was I? Sorry, I got a phone call. Command confusion. And obviously when I've looked at this, something else has kind of clicked to him as well. Okay, this is the bot random event instructions. Command confusion, it's a roll of 9 or 10. And it said, this event only applies to the human player side. Ignore any result that affects the bot's side. And actually, did I not click to that when one of the first... Because I've rolled that event 3 times. Unfortunately, the first 2 occasions, it didn't matter. We were too far away for me to fire my weapons anyway. However, the 3rd time I rolled it did affect. I think, did I maybe get it wrong at first when I done this? Anyway, where is it? Command confusion. So it says roll 1d10 again. again is so the manpad one is so. Yeah, I did do this once, didn't I? No, but however, hang on. No, because it says this event only applies to human player side. Ignore any results. Yeah, no, but you still have to roll the dice, don't you? I didn't roll the dice, did I, John? I should still roll to see if it's worth something. Is this the bit he tells me about that? No. Or is it? Hang on. Yeah, it is. It's right at the top before, and I didn't notice it at first, before he starts timestamping, he says the bot random event table is talking about what happens if the bot side has control of the event. You still roll to see which side is affected, and we'll ignore it if the bot side, in this case Warsaw Pact, is rolled. So yeah, I've been blundering that one. I think, I get the feeling I've done it the first 2 times we rolled on that. Well, I didn't roll and then I realised, I says, no, wait, I still need to roll. No, I didn't do it on the third occasion. So, at least I don't think I did. So you still need to roll on that to see if it hits. Now, if it hits a Warsaw Pact player, nothing happens. If it hits a NATO player, however, then we don't get to... for that side, flights may not initiate air-to-air combats this turn. And that's devastating. And this is the whole point that John has brought this up, because he thinks, he says, I firmly believe that command confusion events should be amongst those that you ignore for both sides in this scenario. It happening at the wrong time can cost you the scenario, as has seemingly happened for you. Yeah, if I'd only rolled the dice, so I might have got away with it. Unless I did. Maybe I did roll the dice there. But I get the feeling no. He says you already have to deal with the possibility of losing detection at the wrong time. And yeah, it's true. I mean, as we go into this... no, we've been at the end of the turn, haven't we? Yeah, so say I lost detection on one of these at the end of the turn, and then we go into the next turn, we roll the event, and it's command confusion. You know, I mean, that should be enough, I think, what he's saying. And it is. I mean, if we roll command confusion for this event on this, probably this last turn of the game, I mean, yeah, I've made a mess of things, and I see where I've all went wrong and whatever. And it's unlikely we're going to succeed here. There's probably a slim possibility, but I think we definitely need initiative to start with. But anyway, or maybe not. Oh yeah, no, we haven't finished the turn, have we? What am I talking about? We've only moved Cobra Flight. Okay, this might not be the last video because I'm rabbiting on here. I'm at 23 minutes, and we've not actually finished turn 8. All we've done is moved 1 flight out of the 4 flights that have to be moved. Sorry, 5 flights that have to be moved. But however, I mean, Roach and Pulov don't matter, but these two do. Okay, but anyway, he thinks that command confusion event shouldn't be there, and it does sound like, I think I replied. What did I say? Yeah, fair point. It does look like an event that could make or break it for you. It would certainly be harsh if you rolled 9 or 10 every event phase, which you could potentially do. He says, especially since 9 and 10 are decently common, that random event comes up, and then it's got some odds. Yeah, there's a couple of comments there, but what I asked at the end was, you know, it does sound like something, again, that they could maybe change. I mean, all it needs to be, it could be in the Dark Blue Defection to say that you don't look at that event at all, you know. My question at the end, though, does it have a similar impact in the other scenarios? Because, I mean, he's only mentioned it in this scenario, so some of you might know, if you played the other scenarios, if that's going to be as brutal or not. Okay, and some quick final comments. This is from part 9. Rules has written, yeah, the generic flight would be able to use clean profile and thus reach Castle Airfield. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about. it would then activate as an Su-24 automatically per SSR and bomb the airfield. Right, where was I? Sorry, I was away for a wee bit there. Yeah, the last comments that John made, part 9. Generic flight would be able to use Queen profile rush, reach castle, yeah. Then activate as Su-24 automatically per the SSR and bomb the airfield. Okay. Yeah, Roach is totally out of the fight of this scenario. Even a rearm would mean the damaged aircraft gets removed and thus the flight would dissolve. Yeah, because we've only got 2 aircraft and one of them's damaged. Yeah. Then it talks about the this +2 modifier when you're head on and how important it is. I'll not go into that, but yeah. And I made a mistake. The BVR rating on the AIM 7M is +2, not +3. Yeah, it's the numbers in yellow when you're looking at the BVM, Grant. However, this would, if you remember, we rolled on. That was the table we rolled on to get the hit, wasn't it? Which table's that? Damage allocation, no. What one is it? Short resolution. Yeah, it's this one here. And this is the one I didn't want a high number. Remember, I was like 18. I was like, oh, that's a nice high number. And I was like, oh, I don't want a high number. So what? I must have rolled 18 because I had a +2. So I got 20. Was that right? And I counted it as 21. No? Was that? Anyway, he said that your actual short resolution result should have been 19, which is 1 aircraft shot down. Which I thought, oh great, that's great, we got 1 aircraft shot down instead of damage. But like he's pointed out, it doesn't really make any difference because he says there's not much difference in this case since the damaged aircraft also detonates its ordnance, bombs, and the morale modifier is the same. Plus I'll have a BVR Avoid marker which gives you even more time, which admittedly well, they were getting a BVR. Well, they're not getting a BVR Avoid marker anyway, John, with the damage result. They must have been, yeah. I think the BVR Avoid marker goes on if a shot does something, doesn't it? Yeah, it says place a BVR Avoid marker if any shots occurred. Yeah. Yeah, so they were getting a BVR Avoid marker anyway. So which I've got, which I thought, oh, that's all right, but then I think BVR, he's got to spend the first movement point to remove it, so he'll only be able to move to there this turn. However, his next turn he'll have the 2 movement, well, unless we put him in the same position. That's all we can try and do. Now, when I was talking about firing my BVR at this guy, and then in between it, we kind of depleted our weapons, and I thought, should I get the chance to fire at them both before we check for depletion? He says, well, the rules don't specify. I believe that you do one BVR combat fully, including post-combat steps like depletion and morale checks, then do the next combat. As you surmise, this does mean you deplete Cobras, RHMs before you have a chance to engage other fights. So, yeah, I think we'll stick with that. Like he says, rules don't maybe completely do it that way, but it seems probably like the right thing to do, unfortunately. And that was it. He does add a post-video note. Yeah, when you're defending against a strike, the cap close escort flights are really just distractions. You only want to initiate attacks against bombing flights or maybe SEAD flights if you have SAM's AAA. Okay, and I made some replies, nothing that I said the BVR, the fact that these bombers don't have a BVR capability, we should totally be attacking them from the front to get that beneficial +2. These are all things that I'm just going to hopefully take forward to the next scenarios. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, and I commented about the fact, I think I said that right at the beginning of this part. Yeah, when he was telling me that Roach was totally out of the scenario, I says, yeah, another realisation. I says, I do feel it has been a great intro scenario to me not having played the game at all. It sets you up for what's to come, although I realise I'm going to be learning more new stuff soon. And it does, it's really teaching you the game. I mean, I made some blunders and I'm glad somebody's been able to point them out to me because there's there's some video footage out there, but I think we need more. I think these videos they all help, you know. I think they help if you want to play the game properly anyway. If you don't care, if you just want to have some fun and move counters about and say, right, I'm shooting at that, he's shooting at me, and we'll just do it that way. I'm not I need to be doing it right as it's meant to be done, but and that's why I think having these videos out there is good. So yeah, and I did say I could adjust the damaged flight of Tolikov basically just by turning that purple square into a black one. So it was a shot down flight. Now again, you would do a bailout procedure for that, but we don't need that in this scenario as well. I think that's about it, really. Yeah, and he replies to a couple of my comments. Yeah, I think I've said this before. DBD is a great introduction. You slowly work your way up from this purely air-to-air fight with only a few flights on the board, and where only a few rules apply to having all the rules applicable and lots of flights in the mix. Okay, that's it. Right, 32 minutes. Right, I still believe I could probably finish this scenario if we just get our finger out and get on with it. Right, okay. Yeah, so we're not starting a new turn at all, are we? Like I said. I remember that's what I was talking about marking the... But I remember, Cobra, we got an initiative. We drew a 1 as an initiative. We moved Cobra because obviously that was the important part. So... yeah, it's over at the Soviets to draw initiative chip now. But it's just kind of irrelevant really because Roach can't do anything. So they've drawn a 5 on the large side. So 2 on the small side. So they are going to move their 2 flights. And, right, so the BVR... well, we'll just move Tolikov first. He's got a max turn marker. That doesn't affect him. He's just moving straight. And the BVR Avoid marker, I'm pretty sure it's just first movement point, isn't it? Yeah, play red card 1 here has the movement actions. Right at the top, remove markers. Spend half of movement points to remove maneuver marker. Spend 1 movement point to remove BVR Avoid marker. Okay, so he's way done. He's at low altitude, so his speed is only 2, so he does only have 2 movement points, and 1 of them gets removed to take that away. And he can't turn, so we'll just take that away. So all he's going to do is move 1 hex straight on. However, next turn, obviously, he's within 2 range. So, well, if we can get a BVR Avoid marker on him again, he won't be able to reach the hex. So that gives us that chance. However, it's maybe more the problem is Vlad behind, and he's got 1 aircraft in his flight now, but Vlad's still got the two aircraft. So okay, so move Tolikov, and now we're going to move Vlad. Now he can only move 2. Ooh, so they can't end up in the same hex here. Okay. Yeah, okay, it doesn't really matter here, but the other thing is, I've still not seen any talk, and I'm just going to speak about this, hopefully, in the fact, and maybe John can comment on it, or anybody else. When, would they... I know there's certain occasions, going back to here, where the bot flights do select dash throttle. I mean that one, the maneuver, the BVR Avoid marker there tells us that I didn't roll a dice, did I? I was meant to roll to see what flight moved first. I just chose to move Tolikov. That's kind of wrong then. Because, well, let's just roll. Right, the spade is odd. That's a 1. It was odd. Good then. Right. It's just what the issue I'm having here is how to move these just now, because you can see if he moves 2 movement points, they can't both stack in the same hex at the same altitude. Anyway, yeah, my question here to put out there is BVR Avoid marker there says it selects combat throttle, spend 1 movement point to remove it. But here we are here with the possibility. I mean, okay, let's just say Vlad's in this hex here, right? Let's just say he's in there. He's 1, 2, 3 movement points away from succeeding in the mission. Now, he could move to dash throttle and get a speed of 3 and complete the mission. But there's nothing to say that anywhere. Now, is that just something, again, that we just need to sort of say, well, you know, I understand that not everything can be written into an AI system to take care of everything, and this is, it's not a really complex sort of AI, really, is it? It's not. It's got enough in it, I think, to make the game interesting, but maybe it's something that they just leave that, just let that be, leave it as it is. But you can see what I mean. You know, if it was yourself and you knew you just had to move onto that hex, and you could set I'm talking about if he was there, and you could set dash throttle to move into there, then you would do it and win the mission, you know. That's basically what I'm asking. Is there anything there to say that should select dash throttle to complete the, you know, I don't know, again, this is the full game rules of solo bot, whereas Dark Blue Defection in itself has its own sort of little bits. Now, yeah, did you look at the possibility of maybe saying something like that, Grant, in here? I don't think it does, because I think I would have... I think I would have seen it if it had said, look, when in range, if it has the chance to select dash throttle to complete the mission, then go for it. But yeah, maybe not. But if there is something there, let me know. Right, so now we do still have this dilemma because we can't stack them together. He's only got 2 movement points. He's facing that way. So what do I do here? I don't know, actually, because I think it's quite important for him to have got within range of 2 of that so that he can move into the next turn. But I don't think we can do that. I can only move 2 at the moment. The only thing I could do, but it's not really instructing you to do that, is I could move 1 into there and drop to deck level, and then move in beside Tolikov at deck level. But I don't know if the possibility is the bombs need to be at low level to be used. Of course, this scenario isn't. It's just saying once you get over there, just assume the bombs have been dropped. My guess would be that they need to be at low level, and deck's going to be too close to the ground. Maybe get some come back from the bombs, from the explosion. Well, I don't know. I don't actually know what to do with that. Now, if I had thought about it before, but I was just sticking to what was that not where the waypoint marker was? No, was it further back? I think it was that hex, wasn't it? Yeah, it was this X here, so... But I could have turned like that when I reached there. And then now we would be able to go 1, 2. And then be within the 2 hex range to go for that. So maybe, should I have done that back there? I don't think there's anything to guide you with this. So it could be one of the bits where you've got to kind of work that one out from yourself. Because he's got to move before I can give him a free turn, or he's got to spend a turn now to turn, and then that would only put him there. So I can't really, I'm not sure what to do. I mean, before Tolikov moved, Tolikov was there, remember? So I'm maybe thinking that he's got 2 movement points, 1, 2, he would normally move into there, then that leaves us 1, 2, we're in behind him. However, with that BVR Avoid, means Tolikov could only move 1, but you can't really try and process all that, can you? And keep that in mind, surely. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should have ended this guy turning that way. And then we definitely wouldn't have went in the way. You know what? I'll backtrack to that, okay? Or what I could say was, it's just tough, and now I need to move, and that would be 1 movement, 2 movement. But I just feel like that feels a little unfair. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I should do, really. So, well, let's just get the scenario. And listen, if I do fail this, which looks likely, I don't think I'm going to go and play it again. I might possibly, but I mean, I'm not going to go and record it all again, because I think you probably wouldn't want to see that. I might, but I'm probably just going to just get on with it. I'm curious to see what the next mission is, really. Yeah. So let's just assume that I had some savvy about me, and we had made that turn at the end, because I think he came in from that angle, and he wouldn't have finished. So he would have finished with a turn marker. But now we're going to move on 2 hexes, 1, 2, keep him up low, and and obviously we would have dropped his max turn marker anyway. Okay. Oh yeah, and I forgot about the roach fight as well, didn't I? Pull off, I mean. Because I just rolled. I rolled between a spade and a diamond, didn't I? And got a spade. And pull off's a heart. It doesn't really matter, because it's not as if Roach is going to be able to do anything to them anyway. So I don't think it matters. But I'm skipping parts there. I should have rolled for this as well. But these 2 are out of the game, aren't they? We've worked that one out. So yeah, I'll go with that. But let me know there how that should have finished, and what I should have done if I couldn't actually move him the 2 to get him in that same hex. Should I just have turned him for 1 and then moved him in there for the second hex point? Maybe. We'll go with the fact that I'd read ahead and turned him at the end of the last turn, but I'm not so sure. I guess if that's just left up to yourself to work it out or not. I mean, and this is only when there's 2 flights. I can imagine it getting a bit trickier if there's more than 2 flights floating about. The fact that you can't stack them at the same altitude. That was right, wasn't it? Because initially I thought you couldn't stack friendly flights at all. But then John reminded me it's only if they're at the same altitude. Okay, we'll go with that. Right, well, we do have to actually move Roach and pull off, don't we? So, okay, well, it's me to draw for initiative now. No, we've got to put that back in the cup. And this is, I know, I'm wasting time here because these are not relevant. Right, I've got 4 for the large, 2 for the small. Okay, so Roach is going to move. He's disordered. That doesn't affect his. Let's see. I don't want him getting in the way of this BVR though. I don't want him in 3 range. So, I think did we dash throttle him the last time? I think we did. Yeah, he's used a fuel point anyway. So it'd be 5, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's just get him going down here then. At 5. Right, I'm going to do... No. I think I'm going to mark when I move the unit out away, because I think I made a mess last time with Cobra. I was saying he was in this hex, and I think he was... Or no, I was saying he was in there, and he was actually in there. I need to have come up with some markers, I think, once things get a bit hectic. Right, so 5, and what's my turn? My turn at 5, 3 turns only 30 degrees, isn't it? So 1 free turn, 2 3 turn, 3 4 free turn, 5. Now that's low for Cobra. Yeah, I'm just going to put him down there. It doesn't really matter. I mean, he's wanting to get to the airfield, isn't he? He's kind of wanting to land, but I don't want him interfering with any of this, because we do possibly have a slim shot at things. Right, and then Roach is still... sorry, not Roach. Pull-off is to go. Now, again, and this is what John was talking about, that overriding the disordered state and doing the Winchester... well, actually, Pull-off's got his weapons still, isn't he? Right, he's got guns and RHM missiles, so... I think John's... Yeah, it's when he was out at... when all air-to-air weapons were depleted. Which is Roach's case, yeah. That's right, he said that, didn't he? Yeah, that is the case for Roach. I mean, even if he gets rid of his disordered, he still can't do anything, because he can't. I mean, he's an F-15, his purpose is to fight things, and he's not got any weapons. Okay, so... But... Pull-off does have weapons still, so we would still look at the disordered. So dash throttle, climb on altitude band, move as close as possible to the nearest orbit rally point or friendly airfield. Okay, so move to dash. Dash first, and he's at medium altitude this time, so I think he's got one more movement point, isn't he? Dash is a clean. Dash is 6, so he's got 6 movement points. And he's going to climb to high for 1 movement point. And then where's he? He's heading for Mulhausen, isn't he? So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it doesn't really make any odds, I don't think. Yeah, he could probably reach in the next turn. So he's still disordered. He's at high altitude now. Yeah, and that's that. Okay, so that's all the flights moved and done their fighting, etc. Track phase. Oh yeah. So we could lose. There is a chance of losing detection on these. That's what John was saying. You've got that risk as well. Do you really need the risk of rolling a 9 and 10 when it comes to the event? When you've got the risk, if they become undetected and we don't detect them in the detect phase, then that's pretty much game over as well, isn't it? Okay, so track phase, all detected NATO flights at deck and rough terrain. Well, Cobra's not at deck, he is in rough, he's at low altitude, that's exactly where he wants to be, so roach is undetected anyway, and then all flights at deck and in adjacent to mountain terrain, well, no, none of the Warsaw Pact flights are at deck, low, and this one's at high. However, we will get to roll on the track phase column box thingy. This is important then. So this is a 2-die roll. Well, let's check for Cobra first then. So we're rolling on the Warsaw Pact's detection level with C. Yeah, and there's no modifiers of that to this, is there? No. Okay, so on the C column, I've rolled 19. That's probably quite good. High numbers are good, aren't they? C, yeah, it's nothing for 19. So it's nothing, so... I know, what... Yeah, no, I wanted the result there, didn't I? Yeah. I'm wanting him to become undetected. Yeah, okay, I'm getting my thoughts muddled up again. Okay, well, he's not going to become undetected. So, pull off flight and roach flight, they're both undetected anyway. So, we're rolling on the Warsaw Pact. This is a big one. We don't want a spade or a diamond. Yuck. Right, and we're rolling on the D, the NATO D column. So here goes. Yeah, we want a big high number here, don't we? Yeah, here we go. 8. Not sure I like that. What's a curly brackets one? But that means, oh no, diamonds. Diamonds and curly brackets. I think it's when they're at low, isn't it? Results in curly brackets apply to any flight on the deck, any flight at low on its own side of the front. Oh, we're getting away with it. So they're not at deck, they are at low, but they're on our side of the front. So no, they are not becoming undetected. Wow. Yeah, so the result there that we didn't want was, yeah, the low numbers, eh? Ooh, look at 2. Everything becomes undetected. Yeah, we didn't want a 3 or a 5 roll there. So yeah, we got away with that. Okay, good stuff. Right, and then the last thing I think in the admin phase that we can have a go at is trying to remove disorder for pull-off again, but he needs to roll an actual 20 here. Yeah, I'll try this first thing. So, here we go. Not to be, no, he's rolled a 7. So that's that. So that's the turnover. So we're on to turn 9, and I'm just going to keep going here because we should be able to just, hopefully, just smoothly glide through this finish. Something like that. Okay, so, well, random event phase. Here we go. And if I do roll a 9 or a 10, I might take on board what John said, that we shouldn't really be looking at that event. That would be cruel, wouldn't it? Right, here we go. So event phase. As event, yeah. Yeah, random event. You're joking. Seriously? I've rolled 9. Come on. Nah. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Yeah, because I can't fire. And they're going to move. Yeah, so I'll lose the scenario. And yeah, you can see that's a bit cruel, isn't it? To lose it just on that die roll. What we'll do is we'll play it out though, and we'll say that John spoke to Howard, and Howard's agreed that should be that command confusion shouldn't be applicable to either player. It should just be wiped out of this scenario. It should be ignored. Okay, so we'll just go ahead to that, and we'll carry on. Right, so there's no event, right? Detection. Roll to detect undetected flights. I've only got roach and pull off. Do we need to bother? We just want to get on to the good stuff, eh? Well, yeah, it was just to speed it up rather than... Right, well, let's roll for Roach. So we're rolling on the C column. Roach is at deck and rough, so he does get a -4 to this. Rolled 14, -4 is a 10. It's not far away, but still needed a 12. Roll for pull off, he's not going to get any modifiers. Rolled a 13 on the D column. That is enough, yeah. So pull off is detected. So I'll flip him over. Again, not really relevant here. 1, 2, they can do visual. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that Vlad can do a visual detection roll on Roach. Okay, let's quickly do it then. On the visual column, modifiers, target 3 or 4 hexes away he is, so it's a -2. Can we see that? Right. Yeah, just about. So he's getting a -2. Target in different altitude band. Yes, because he's at deck, so that's another -1. -3. Target at deck, yeah, so that's -5. Oh wait now. Target at deck in rough. Yeah, he's in rough. So it's -6 instead of -5 because he's getting a -3 for that. Searching flight and beam arc of target. I think he is, isn't he? That's a tough one, isn't it? Searching flight and beam arc of target. That's his beam, I think, his rear beam. So that's another -2. I think that's a -7 on the visual detection column. So, okay. Rolled a 9, so that turns into a 2. So, no, that's a tough one to get then, eh? Yeah. Yeah, I need to be a lot closer, I think, to start with, and then the altitude and the deck part. Yeah, okay. So, and then they don't have the IRST thing. It was just the MiG that had that. So, okay, I think we're done with detection. Yeah. Yeah, because they don't have radar. It's only well, it's a MiG that's got a radar, but you know what? He's pointing away. He needs to be in the forward beam. Forward arc, sorry. He would need to be pointing this way towards Roach to be able to have a radar attempt. And again, why bother, Grant? Why bother with them? Right, let's get down to the important stuff. Well, this is a big one then. Well, I suppose technically we've lost the scenario anyway because of the event, but we would lose it here as well if they get in. Well, not if they get initiative. If they get initiative and draw at least a 1 initiative chat. So we've got two little chances there pulling that one off. But ideally, we want initiative, and yeah, we want to draw a 1. We don't care about Roach. So right, so initiative we want to roll a 1 to 6 here. Rolled a 3. Okay, so that's good. Right, so we do have the initiative. All we need to do here is draw a 1 chat, just not a 0, Grant. Right, there we go. It's a 3 on the large side. Surely that's a 1. Oh, it's a big 3 on the small side. Okay, so we're getting the initiative. We are activating both our flights. We don't care about Roach. It's all about Cobra. And he's coming to get them. Well, now, how can we do this then? Well, this time we're getting the +2 for both, because Vlad's turned. I mean, basically here, I need to attack them both with BVR, hope that I get 2 hits. I hope that I get a hit on that and a hit on that. And when I say a hit, I need like a damage. And then I've got to try and... Because there's... Oh no, there's only 1 flight now. There's only 1 aircraft in the flight. Oh, well, that was relevant then, John, wasn't it? Because we were saying, you were saying that that would have been a damaged aircraft, whereas now it's a shot down aircraft. That doesn't mean that there's only one aircraft in the flight. So when we go to check the table that, oh, you know what I'm talking about. The damage allocation table, we'll not be looking on the 2 column, we'll be looking on the 1, which is important because if we're looking on the 2, we could hit the damaged aircraft again, and we don't want that. Okay, so, right, we're going to, straight up BVR. Well, we need to do something first, don't we? Well, we need to move, or I'm going to take this cube away now because, well, we don't really need it. We know what's happening. So, yeah, I think I'll just, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use combat throttle. I don't think it matters. I can only engage one of them in standard air-to-air combat. So I'm going to move 1 because I need to spend a movement point first. And then I'm going to engage in BVR combat, targeting them both. Now we auto-engage, and we can do both the things because it's an F-15. And they must be the best. It's a shame to see the best aircraft in the game right away from the first scenario, but I'm maybe just making that up, mind you. But it seems like it's awful good, the F-15, isn't it? I mean, I know it's a well-known kind of flight of its time. I thought the F-16 was good, but F-16's actually, that's about, well, we'll get to them. There's maybe other ones, and obviously they're going to be doing different things, and that's going to be the fun of the game, isn't it? The fact that the next mission we'll maybe not have that ability to do that. Anyway. But then the F-15s, they might be about quite a lot, because they look like the standard aircraft that you want protecting you. Doing all the fighting for you. Okay, right, I need to get my chart that, right, hang on. Okay, so here we go. BVR, area combat sequence, engagement. Only attacker rolls for engagement. We don't need to roll because we auto-engage. Maneuver, BVR combat commences. The attacker only rolls the maneuver table to determine a number of shots. Right, and we're engaging both of them. Oh, hold on, Grant, stop. We've got to get closer, I think. It's IRMs, no, where are we? Cobra. IRM, aim 9M. So at BVR, it needs to be a +1. It needs to be at range 1. Okay. Right. We need to move again then. So we need to move 1 more hex, and I think I want to do a free turn. Well, I don't know, because I'm not sure that'll be in our forward arc. No, it won't. That Tolokov will, whereas if I go like that, both of them are in our forward arc, surely. Yeah. Okay, so I moved 2 movement points instead of, so I've actually got 2 movement points left. Yeah, because I need to use my IRMs, because we burnt out our HMs. So the IRM still has you'll see, I'll take the fencer thing away at the moment, get close to the F-15. You'll see that it's the IRM, it's the AIM 9M that I'm using, because the RHM, the AIM 7Ms were depleted. So they were depleted. So it's IRM 9M. So it's that one there. So it's a +1. No, Grant. It's the +1. The +1 is your bonus. You were fine where you were. The range is 2. It's 211. It's 2 if you... Let me go back, sorry. I don't need to do that, do I? It's 2... of a range if they're in the forward arc. Right, hang on a second here, because he's actually in half and half. So I need to find out that one. And did I not asked a question on this way back at the beginning, because it was one of the ones that I read. It's the one with the arcs of the flights. Let me see here. Yeah, so we're looking at this diagram here, and well, Tolokov's there, right? There. And Vlad is there. And, you know, and Cobra's, if we're looking at Cobra there, right? So Tolokov's definitely. However, Vlad is half and half. So this is a bit. Now, it's us that are attacking. And John did. I might need to look back in his comment, because I get the feeling I'm going to read this and not. Yeah, it's the very bottom. But if a target hex or target flight. Yeah, so this is a target hex we're talking about. Well, it's target flight as well. If a target hex or target flight is on a boundary that splits the hex in half, which is that's what that one is, and that's where Vlad is if we leave the flight, our flight where it is. The player controlling the non-target flight, that's me. I'm controlling the non-target flight, chooses which arc it falls into. Right, good. That's fine. We're sorted. We can leave him there. Because now we decide what part he falls into, and we decide he falls into the forward arc. Yeah, okay. And we're happy enough being at 2 range. I was getting muddled up with the +1 is the bonus to the combat. At BVR, the 2 is the range. At forward, it'll be 1 at beam and 1 at rear. So we're in range, we're good, we've engaged, we've done all that. We're going to look at the manoeuvre table now. Okay, so manoeuvre table, BVR, we're just looking at the bottom set of modifiers in the BVR part here. Now we still have 2 aircraft in our flight. This is Cobra flight. We still have 2 aircraft, so that's good. And so modifiers, -1 if there was an altitude band difference between the 2. There is not. -1 defender at low, exception no modifier if attacker is same or lower. We're all at the same, so again no -1 for that. Defender at deck, no he is not. Defender at very high, no he is not. Defender attack from rear arc, no he is not. Defender attack from beam, no he is not. Defender attack from forward arc, yeah. +2. Okay, and the aggression is still +0 for us. So we're getting a +2 for both of these. Well, I say both of these, we've still got to do the same thing and roll for depletion again. So it's the same situation. Does it really matter which one I decide to fire at first then? Not really, does it? Well, I don't know. I don't know. We'll learn from another mistake if we find out we should have fired at the other one first. Okay, so we're going to go for Tolikov. We've engaged them and all that. We know the manoeuvre roll. It's a +2. Yeah, we're going to roll. We're going to roll. We're going to roll on the manoeuvre table now, right? And we want. Well, we don't just want one shot, do we? Is one shot enough? Let me see. Where's the shot resolution table? That's damage allocation. No, short resolution, then we've got to roll on the short resolution chart, yeah. So yeah, we kind of do want more than one, really, on this one, yeah. Okay, so we're looking at 2 aircraft. We've got a +2, and this is the BVR side we're using. We're looking at 2 aircraft. So we want at least a 10, well, which modifies to an 8. We want at least an 8. Right, and this is firing that talk off. Here we go. Oh no! I've rolled 7. Come on. The dice have been horrible to me in this game. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 or less. No shots. Well, that's that, innit? I needed to hit both of them. Yeah, it's just not meant to be, yeah. I needed to hit both. Okay, well, we'll go for Vlad as well. So we got a +2 for him as well. He's got 2 aircraft. Well, that's not relevant to this. We've got 2 aircraft again. We're getting a +2. Again, we need at least an 8. Although with this one, we really want more than one shot because he's got 2 aircraft. Rolled 14, which is good. +2, 16. Hopefully that should give us it should give us 2. 16. 13 to 16 is 2. So we've got 2 shots on Vlad. Select an undepleted weapon to shoot with. Okay. Then roll 2 dice. Apply modifiers and consult table below. Shots are resolved in any order as determined by the player. A shot may be refused. A shot may be refused based on the results of an earlier shot. Okay. So combat value of the weapon, well, I'll get it right this time. The IRM combat value is a +1. And then the next modifier doesn't apply because of the BVR. So we've got a +1 to this roll. So the first shot is going to be 13 +1, 14. 1 aircraft damaged. Now, do we do the shot? Maybe select apply modifiers and consult the table below. Shots are resolved in any order as determined by the player. Yeah, I'm assuming that I have to. Oh, can I roll for the other shot here? Or I could choose not to. Yeah, whereas, see if we'd been firing at Cobra right now. Sorry, firing at Cobra. Firing at Tolikov, and we got 1 aircraft. And what did I roll? 13, 14. 1 aircraft damage. If I got a damage result, then I wouldn't want to fire the other shot. I wouldn't want to use the other shot because I could then possibly deplete my weapons, and he's only got 1 aircraft. I just need that damage, so we're good. However, Vlad's got 2 aircraft, so we are going to roll again on our second shot, because we got 2 shots. Oh, 8. 8. Well, +1's a 9. It's going to be no effect. Damn. Okay. So we got Vlad. Well, no, Grant, you still got a table to check. It's over the other side, I think. No, it's not. This must be inside. Yeah, it's there. Damage allocation. So we got 1 damage result. Now he's got 2 aircraft in his flight. So we roll 1 dice this time to see which aircraft. It's 9. So that is a C2. There's no crippled aircraft, so it means that second aircraft in Vlad's flight is damaged. So again, he loses his weapons. But that's it, innit? That's us done for. We can't. Hey! I forgot we can move in. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Right. No, we're not done yet. Now, hang on. I've jumped the gun there a bit, haven't I? Hang on a second. I'll check. Okay, I've just had a disastrous moment when I've looked at the camera and I'm talking into the camera and the camera's on pause. So I've had a moment again where I've obviously thinking I was recording when I was paused and vice versa. So I need to stop recording right now and find out where I am, and hopefully it's not went back too far. That's annoying because we're just getting through this. We're getting at a good bit. We're getting to the end of it. Right, you're going to have to give me a second, guys. Hopefully I'm going to come back and not just leave this at this stage. Fingers crossed I can make a quick fix to this. I don't have loads and loads of time though, so it might mean that I have to leave it till tomorrow, but we'll see. Okay, I'll be back shortly, hopefully. Right, cheers. Hi, alright, just back to finish this off. It's not as bad as I was fearing. It is just only like a minute or so, although you're going to have to... I don't think I need to cut it, to be honest. You're going to see a bit of... Well, you'll have seen it already. I'll just leave it in. Some me not speaking and moving these charts about. You are going to have to, because I'm definitely not rolling this dice again. Yeah, I say I jumped the gun a bit and then I moved back to this, and then this is where I must pause the camera thinking I'm recording. Because we'd done damage allocation, however we hadn't done depletion yet, and like I say, I'm not going to roll this dice again. I rolled a 6, okay, and it was modified by a -1 because we fired 2 shots, so -1 for each shot above the first. I rolled a 6. You just need to trust me on that one. It doesn't matter anyway. I've admitted that I've lost this scenario, but so it's just to show the final bit of what we could try and have done. Tried to do. So we didn't deplete our weapons. We've done damage allocation, so now we're going to look at morale. Of course, that's when I'm moving this, turning this over, and that you'll probably see a bit of that. But I don't think there's anything untoward or anything that's going to annoy folk. Okay, so yeah, so the morale check now. Tolikov is not going to have to do a morale check because we have no shots at him, but Vlad is. He's got 1 damaged aircraft. So we're going to roll 2 dice on this. Now this is him that rolls the dice, so this is the defender. So his aggression value is +1, isn't it? Yeah, so he's got a +1. Had surprise, no. Disadvantage, no. +1 per enemy aircraft damage, cripple, shot down, no. -1 per friendly aircraft damage, cripple, shot down, yes. And flight is disengaging, no. So it's exactly the same as we rolled before. There's a +1 and a -1, so there's no modifier. And this is the one we want low, Grant, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. I'll check for Vlad. 9, that's not bad, that's lowish. So 9 on the BVR combat is 8 to 12, so jettison check. Oh, and -1 jettison check, by the way. So, adjust aggression value as indicated. So yeah, so he's going to go down to 0. Need our green pen for that. That's Vlad. So he's down to 0 with his what do we call it? Jettison check. So right, what do we do with that? Each aircraft in the flight rolls to see if it jettisons all its air-to-ground ordnance. 1 to 6 jettison, 7 plus no jettison. Well, if we've damaged one, we only need to roll on the other one that's not damaged, eh? Damaged aircraft are not counted. Damaged aircraft must immediately jettison all air-to-ground ordnance. So we're only going to roll on the aircraft that's left. That would be my understanding of that. So it'll be annoying if we get this result though. Oh, wait, no. We've still not finished, Grant. We could still do this. So we want a 1 to 6 here to jettison. It must just be 1 die, yeah? Each aircraft in flight rolls to see... Yeah, well, it doesn't actually say there, but it must be 1 dice. No, maybe not. It just says 7+. You know, it could be 7 to 20. You don't jettison. Well, that would disorder recovery. It says roll 2 dice. Oh, no, that's when you're trying to recover. I don't know why that's there. Well, it's just reminding you, I suppose. I'm going to say it's 1 dice. Really, each aircraft in flight rolls to see if jettisons all its area ground ordnance. 16.21. Let me look at the actual rule in the book. In the book, it just says roll once for each aircraft in the flight. On a 1 to 6, the aircraft jettisons all its area ground ordnance. On a 7+, it does not. It feels like it's 1 die roll, doesn't it? Then again, that's like 1 to 6. That's a high chance of them jettison. 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's what, 4%. 40%. Yeah, and you've got 60-40 in it. Whereas if it was like 2 D10s, I mean, it's just because the die roll here that we had for the actual morale check is 2 dice. My initial thought was it's 1 dice, but so I'm going to roll 1 dice, and somebody can tell me if I've got that wrong. 7+, it does not. Sure, just 1 dice. Right, we'll go with it then. So we want a 1 to 6 here, don't we? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, 7. Oh no, the dice are not been with me. Well, okay. Well, that's a shame. I'm probably as well just calling things now. Although we haven't had have we had yeah, we did have a standard air-to-air combat. We did have the one, didn't we? Because if the other aircraft in Vlad's flight had jettisoned its weapons, Vlad would have no weapons left. Tolikov would have 1 aircraft with weapons, and then we could then move in again, because remember this was just BVR, and we could have a standard air-to-air combat with Tolikov, and who knows, maybe all we need is for him to jettison, basically. Well, I won't prolong the agony anymore, because it's definitely. I mean, we've skipped by the event that we rolled. Did we not kind of skip something else? No, we did. We rolled. We got the initiative. Yeah, we did. We did get the initiative. Genuinely, we just skipped by the event, but you can see John's made some other comment about that. I just noticed. I was over at the computer regarding how, I was asking, does it affect it in the further in the other scenarios, and that I didn't quite read his comment, but it does look like a bit of a yucky one, that. However, we didn't manage to do it anyway. All we could do now is initiate standard air-to-air combat with either Tolikov or Vlad. We can't do them both, and we would only be able to take out one of them, which would leave one of the flights with 1 aircraft in the flight able to bomb Cassel, and they're going to get to move net. I mean, Roach is going to do nothing. Roach can do nothing. So, and then all they need to do, the one that's left, just needs to move over Cassel, and that's it. Game over. So there's no real point me going through. If we hadn't done an air-to-air, standard air-to-air, I might have went through that again. But let's just get this finished there. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I know I drew it out far more than it needs to, but there was a lot of things came up there, and for somebody that's not played the game before, I guess it learns you the game, and really, I mean, it really does. that's all the basics of the air-to-air stuff. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more to it. Like I say, you don't have a 60-page rule book and it becomes an easy game to just... I mean, I still struggled there. But lots of things. John had to keep me right with lots of things. So, yeah. So we did not succeed though. But you can see it. It's probably not that difficult a scenario now that you know what you're doing. Now that I know what I need to achieve. To be honest, Pulov, we could have just let Pulov do what he wants. Really, you know. I mean. Okay, I suppose us fighting him, it took him out of the game, but it took Roach out of the game as well. And would we not be better having our two fighters to take on the two bombers? Because Pulov's is nothing to do with them winning the scenario. Well, I say nothing. He could have shot us all down, I suppose. But you know what I mean. It's all about the bombers and stopping them from reaching the airfield. Yeah. Really good. Enjoyed that. So it's victory conditions. If a flight of Su-24Cs with ordnance reach Cassel Air Base, the mission ends immediately as a NATO defeat. Well, that's what's going to happen. Like I say, I could move and initiate standard air-to-air with one of them. Yeah, because even the whole scatter thing and all that it's not, I can't do them both. I needed to disable one of them. Yeah. We were still quite close there in the end, you know. Although, I suppose, if you look at the event that should have happened, we weren't. So, NSC2, that's the next scenario. Good old Uncle Sam. Well, I'll not read into it yet. But I'm keen to get it going, set that up, and see. I'm just having a wee glance at things there. Oh, to destroy an enemy, SA11. We're looking at Sam's this time. Right, I'm not going to read more into it. I'm going to spoiler myself a bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. So, and yeah, I don't know if. I know it was long drawn out, 2 kgs to go through and all that for such a simple scenario, but there's nothing out there in this game, and I think if some people will probably benefit from it, maybe with your finger on the fast forward button, skipping by some of the nonsense that maybe rant on a bit and, make it longer than it definitely needs to be, but yeah, good stuff. Right, and thanks, John. Thanks for keeping me right with everything. And hopefully you'll stick by for the next scenario when it comes. I'm off over this weekend, so I'm hoping to get a little bit of gaming done. I do have DD at Saipan now. Trying to get moving with that. It's going to be my turn next. So US action phase. So... yeah, we'll see what happens for there. What's the kind of questions and scratching the head coming up about? Bit worried about that. But anyway. Okay. Right, well, I'll be back with more of this sometime soon. Okay, cheers guys.